Hey, fellow detective, welcome back to Killers Among Us. In the present day of the 21st century, can you believe that there are people willing to arrange ghost marriage for their children? In this episode, we delve into the shocking ghost marriage case that rocked Shaanxi province in China. Let's delve into the mysterious tradition of ghost weddings, tracing its origins and uncovering a chilling murder case linked to this arcane belief. Before we start, let me introduce to you what a ghost wedding is. Ghost weddings, a tradition believed to stretch back 3,000 years, are carried out with a hope to provide companionship for unmarried souls in the afterlife. Originally, these nuptials were exclusively between two deceased individuals, a ceremony orchestrated by the living to ensure the loved one weren't alone in death. Just like earthly weddings, ghost marriage also involve intricate negotiations and exchanges. The family of the deceased bride demands a bride price and a dowry, which may include jewelry, servants, and a mansion. However, these items are not physical possessions but paper tributes. Age and family background are taken into account, and feng shui masters are often employed to ensure a harmonious match. The wedding ceremony usually involves the funeral plaque of the bride and groom and a feast. The key ritual involves unearthing the bride's remains and placing them in the groom's grave. However, it's not all about Asian rituals and traditions. A darker side has emerged in recent years, as the practice has evolved in some regions. Instances of living individuals being secretly wedded to the deceased have been reported, but even more disturbing are the accounts of grave robbery and murder linked to this practice. In 2015, a startling case emerged from Shaanxi province where 14 female corpses were stolen from one village. The villagers claimed that tomb raiders were stealing bodies to profit from the ghost weddings. Today's case is about a woman who was arrested in China, confessed to murdering a 13-year-old teenage girl with the horrific intent of selling her body to a family seeking a ghost bride. Let's look into the case, but before that, please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more true crime stories. Let's rewind the clock to October 12, 2014, in Shaanxi province. A mother received a sudden phone call, and on the other end is her child's teacher. The voice on the phone discussed the recovery of her husband from a car accident and suggested if everything is fine, she should send Tingting back to school to continue her studies. Tingting's mother is perplexed upon hearing this, because her husband was never involved in any accident. Moreover, Tingting has been attending school and hasn't returned home for several days. It dawns on both parents that something is amiss, and they immediately report the situation to the police. The authorities swiftly respond to the report and rush to the school to gather information. According to the teacher, on that day, Tingting went to the water room with a classmate to fetch some water. Suddenly, a mysterious woman approached her, claiming that Tingting's father had been in a car accident and was in the hospital. The woman insisted that Tingting should hurry back, as Tingting's mother had sent her to fetch her. Fearing the worst, she became extremely anxious upon hearing this news. She hastily abandoned her water cup and asked her classmate to inform the teacher of her leave. Since the teacher was familiar with the woman, she didn't think much of it and allowed them to go. Once the police learned about this incident, they promptly obtained the school's surveillance footage to identify the woman. Simultaneously, they began questioning the classmates who were present in the water room. Miraculously, perhaps due to oversight, the camera captured a clear image of the woman. The police swiftly identified her as Tang Su Mei, a fellow villager. Upon hearing this name, Tingting's mother froze in disbelief. A sense of immense anxiety overwhelmed her, as a dreadful premonition cast its shadows over her head. Utilizing information provided by the villagers, the police swiftly apprehended Tang. However, when brought to the police station, she remained silent, displaying only nervousness. It was only after persistent interrogation by the police that she finally confessed to taking Tingting's away and selling her to a man she was acquainted with. However, upon reaching the man's house, they discovered that Tingting was nowhere to be found. Tang continued to lie until the second trial, where she claimed to have made a mistake. She stated that Tingting was sold to a family in a neighboring village. However, upon verification, it was revealed that this information was also false. She had fabricated stories twice, and anyone would be displeased after being deceived twice. It was only during the third trial that the police issued a final warning to her. They threatened to charge her with obstructing officials' duty if she didn't tell the truth. Facing the possibility of more severe charges, Tang finally confessed. She revealed that Tingting was stabbed and buried in a cemetery. When they arrived at the cemetery, they discovered Tingting dressed in a red bridal gown, lying in someone else's coffin. Next to her was a young boy wearing a matching groom's outfit. Why would a 13-year-old girl suddenly die and be buried alongside another person? The story dates back to September of the previous month. Tang, driven by the desire for quick money, was originally a vegetable store owner. During a funeral event she attended, she overheard relatives discussing ghost marriage, which involved a significant dowry. This dowry was no less than a regular marriage, and as a matchmaker for ghost marriage, she would earn a commission ranging from tens of thousands to even hundreds of thousands. Some supplementary context here. A dowry is a traditional costume in many cultures like China and India, where the bride's family provides gifts, money, or property to the groom or his family as part of the marriage arrangement. This opportunity seems far more lucrative than selling vegetables to Tang, as she was intrigued and began inquiring around. Soon, she learned about a villager nearby who had such a need. His son had passed away in an accident, and he urgently required a ghost bride. He offered a substantial amount for the match. Tang eagerly took up the business and made an agreement with him. Once the task was completed, she would receive a commission of 20,000 yuan, around $2,500. Now the question was, where could she find a young and fresh ghost bride who matched the desired age? She quickly set her sights on Tingting, her daughter's classmate. On October 8, 2014, Tang went to the school to pick up her daughter and noticed Tingting going to fetch water. An evil thought crossed her mind, and she conquered a lie. Taking advantage of her identity as a parent and her acquaintanceship with Tingting, she persuaded her to leave the school premises. Once outside the school, Tang drugs Tingting, causing her to fall into a deep sleep. She took her to countryside and administered more drugs, hoping to cause an overdose and ensure Tingting's death. This way, she would have a fresh ghost bride. However, to Tang's surprise, Tingting displayed incredible resilience and continued to breathe steadily and show normal vital signs. Desperate, Tang purchased a bottle of sedative and injected it into Tingting's body in 3 separate doses. Tang continued her devious plan by seeking out a nearby funeral home. She pretended to be a distraught mother with a terminally ill daughter, desperately seeking a place for her to stay during her final days. Putting on a convincing display of agony, Tang successfully gained the sympathy of the funeral home staff, who allowed her and her seemingly lifeless daughter, Tingting, to take refuge there. However, behind her facade of grief, Tang revealed her truly wicked nature. Seizing an opportunity when the staff members were momentarily absent, Tang took out a rope and carelessly wrapped it around Ting Ting's fragile neck. With a cold determination, she tightened the grip, depriving the poor girl of her last breath. For over 10 agonizing minutes, she continued her merciless act until Ting Ting's life finally faded away. After ensuring her vile task was complete, Tang hastily left the funeral home, carrying Ting Ting's lifeless body to the designated meeting place. Once the handover was accomplished, Tang hurried back home, assuming an air of normalcy as if nothing had happened. She resumed her daily life, concealing the darkness that dwelled within her. However, her charade came to an abrupt end when authorities eventually caught up with her. In the end, Tang faced prosecution for the intentional murder charges brought against her. She was sentenced to death, a fitting punishment for heinous crimes. Well, unfortunately, even in today's world, this repugnant practice continues to exist in certain parts of China. In 2021, a distressing incident unfolded involving an online influencer who resorted to drug-induced suicide. Shockingly, even in death, she could not find peace. According to the media, unscrupulous funeral service providers covertly swap her remains, intending to profit from the market for ghost marriage. Please share your thoughts on this case, or if any similar practice exists in your country. I would be interested to hear your perspective in the comments below.